Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals, and today I have a journaling video working in my Daphne's Diary journal. Now I have about 3 or 4 videos I've already filmed working in here. I just haven't done the voiceovers yet, so we're going quite a bit back in time with this video. But as you watch me go about my process, sticking in photos and writing about my days, I thought I would answer a subscriber request or subscriber question, which was, who inspires me? So I've written out a list and some different categories and different people and YouTube channels and things like that. And hope that this is interesting, entertaining, inspiring to you. I would love to hear who inspires you, so feel free to share in the comments. And I would be interested also to know what categories inspire you. So for me, one of the first things I thought of was authors. So as a kid, I grew up reading books. I absolutely love books, and I would latch on to different authors throughout the years. So once I found an author that I liked, I would, read everything I could get my hands on from them. And it started off with Enid Blyton, then Roald Dahl, then Morris Gleitzman, then Paul Jennings, and then John Marsden, Isabel Carmody, Elizabeth Honey, I think her name is. I remember really first of all being struck by Paul Jennings' books, Unreal, Unbelievable, Uncovered, those types of books. If you're in Australia, you might know them. I really enjoyed the twists that they had. And I ended up, when I was doing creative writing for school, for high school in particular, my stories were very much inspired by Paul Jennings, and I would write short stories that had twists at the end. And then John Marsden, I really enjoyed his twists as well. He was my favourite author for a very long time. His series Tomorrow When the War Began is one that I read every few years. I absolutely love it and very much inspires me, that type of writing. The premise is that a girl is writing sort of like a journal, and she's recounting what happened. And I just love that as a journaler. I think, that just really resonated with me. And as soon as I open to the first page, I'm there, I'm in it, because I can really see this person writing in her journal. And I love that. Anyway, so after that though, so that was my primary school and high school years. Coming into my uni years, I then got into C.S. Lewis, really loved his philosophical writing. And that's kind of when I got into philosophy and psychology and theology. And then when I discovered Donald Miller, oh my goodness, Blue Like Jazz is my all-time favourite book. It sort of changed my life. It was the first time I read a book that felt like it was made specifically for me, and it felt like I was reading words that I could have written myself. I had no idea that someone else thought the same way that I did, and it just felt like, I wasn't alone, and it showed me a different type of writing where I could write about my own life experiences and thoughts, and that can connect with people. So I guess that's how I first learned that I am a life writer rather than a fiction writer, and I love writing memoirs, very much inspired by Donald Miller. And then, later, after I finished my first course, when I did a Bachelor of Environmental Science, I then realised, my heart is actually with creativity and writing, and so I then switched and did a Masters of Writing and Literature. And Anne Lamott is an author who really, really inspired me. I got into writing books. I got every single writing book I could lay my hands on, and just, so inspired. But she was my favourite out of all those. Natalie Goldberg is another that I really enjoy, but Anne Lamott was, great. I just really like her voice, her wittiness, her intelligence. And then after that, Elizabeth Gilbert definitely inspired me. Eat, Pray, Love. I know this might be cliche, that Eat, Pray, Love really spoke to a lot of people. It sort of saved me on multiple occasions back when I had depression and anxiety. That book really, really was a lifeline for me. And at different times of my life, that book has really helped me through some tough things. And then going from there, I more recently have been inspired by Sabrina Ward Harrison, who I do my course with, the book writing course this year. And she is an author and an artist, and her book Spilling Open also changed my life. Just led me to something that was new and exciting. It's a memoir, but it's visual. It looks like a magazine, which is so cool, and I had no idea you could do that. And so I am loving working on my own visual memoir, and I think that's what I'm going to do going forward, is just do visual memoirs forever. And then after that, Tim Costello is another author who really inspires me. His writing on justice and on ethics, and I don't know, it just really inspires me with simple ethical living and Christian living. I can always go to his books, especially Faith and Hope. Those two books really put things in perspective for me and help me with how am I actually living, and sort of, the intentional life course that I run. I guess it resonates with that idea of, I always want to be living intentionally. I always want to be living in a way that feels meaningful and that matters to me, and therefore lines up with my values. So I try to live, ethically, simply, morally. I fail. I'm not some saint or anything. I fail all the time at it, but my heart cares about these things and wants to live like that. So every now and then I just need to be, slapped in the face, and reading those books helps me kind of snap out of my limited, narrow thinking and get back into, okay, hang on, what actually matters, not my petty, small, narrow-mindedness. Tim Costello, very good books and very inspired by his experiences and writing. So those are some of the authors who I'm inspired by, and I gave you sort of like an overview of different categories that really inspire me. So, psychology, philosophy, theology, ethics, writing, creativity, storytelling, that kind of thing. And then moving on to YouTube channels, different YouTube channels that inspire me. Of course, I have to mention Johanna Clough, the very first channel I discovered, introducing me to junk journals, which again introduced me to a whole new world of a way to document your life and a way to journal, and absolutely love it. Amity Bloom, another one who I discovered early on, and I love her style. I really in particular love her vintage, pastel, floral aesthetic, and just filled with so much beauty. Tiffany Julia is another that I love, her style. Really, really pretty. Very similar to Amity Bloom. I really enjoy The Cottage Fairy, and very much inspired by her style of videos, and I've been experimenting and wanting to venture into doing videos more like hers, where it's more storytelling based on writing. So I've done that occasionally, where I've written a piece and then done a voiceover as I've read out the piece, so I can share more of my heart and my own writing, since writing is my favorite thing in the world to do. And I would like to incorporate that more on my channel. It's just, I'm finding it a little bit, videos doesn't come naturally to me. Doing the whole YouTube thing, I was very much intimidated by that tech aspect of, like, how do I even film videos and upload videos, and how do I make it look like a video, like, I don't know, which I'm not very good at, but all to say I'm not very good at it. I don't know, my brain isn't technical like that, but I'm thinking of ways that maybe I could do more cinematic videos, and I love that cinematic style that The Cottage Fairy does, where the visuals paired with the audio, the storytelling. It's a whole other world for me. It's very intimidating, but I would love to do something like that. So we'll see how we go. And of course, Psychology in Seattle, I'm putting them in this category because I discovered them on YouTube, but they're a podcast. So you guys know how much I love Psychology in Seattle. I will shout them from the rooftops how much they've helped me. Healing has happened through listening to them. They're entertaining, they're funny. Kirk and Berto, I absolutely just love listening to them talk with each other. And yeah, I'm a patron of theirs. I'm also a YouTube member of theirs this year, which is really, really fun. Kirk encouraged me to start a membership on my YouTube. I'm like, oh gosh, that seems intimidating too, but they have inspired me with the things that I do on my channel, with the lives, the reason I have a Patreon is because of Psychology in Seattle, because I became a patron of theirs. And sort of their model of how they do their channel and business is what I model my own channel and Willowbound Journals after. So you have Psychology in Seattle to thank for that. And so they very definitely inspired me in a very practical way. And speaking of podcasts, some other podcasts that I don't know if inspire is the right word, but I'll just put it here. Podcasts that I love listening to are Cautionary Tales, Revisionist History, and Musical Splaining, and Stuff You Should Know. Yeah, I'll just chuck that in there for an extra bonus. I also really am inspired by Liz Lamoureux as a journaler and as a creative. I follow her more on Instagram. I don't know if she has a YouTube channel. If she does, there's not many videos. But yeah, Instagram, Liz Lamoureux. I did a lot of journaling courses through her, and it was through her that I started my own journaling courses. So whenever I do something, I do it first. So I always go by example. So, before I started a YouTube, I watched videos first. Before I started an Etsy, I bought from Etsy first. Before I started a Patreon, I became a patron first. Before I taught my journaling courses, I took journaling courses. Before I write my books, I read books. That's always how it works for me. And I hope maybe that by me sharing videos, by me sharing journals that I make and courses that I teach and books that I write, that this inspires you, to make your own journals, to journal your own life, to perhaps start your own channel, start your own business or Patreon, or teach your own journaling courses or whatever courses that you can teach. It all is this whole flowing thing where it's inspiration passes from one to another to another to another. That's the great thing about inspiration. It never runs out. And that's the initial reason I started my channel in the first place, was I was so inspired by all these people creating on their channels that I was just bursting with inspiration from them. And I was like, what do I do with this inspiration? I just love what I'm learning and loving what I'm seeing and loving what I'm creating. And so I was like, let's just do it. Let's create a channel and share what I'm creating through what I've been inspired by. And hopefully what I create can also inspire others. And I don't know, it's just like a natural principle of life that we are inspired and then we inspire. And I believe that of everyone. You might not know it, but you are inspiring people just by being you and doing what you do. Like, maybe no one's told you that you inspire them, but I believe you are inspiring people just naturally, because that's what happens in life. You can't not be inspired and inspire others, because that's just what happens in life. Anyway, went on a tangent there, but yeah, so those are some of the people who inspire me. I've got other people. Again, I'm inspired by so many things. I go through life just constantly being inspired. And I'm inspired by Lin-Manuel Miranda, for example, who, like, Hamilton just saved my life at a certain time in my life, and I just played it every single night pretty much. And I just was so inspired by how he was doing it all. He was writing and acting and singing and composing music, and just absolutely amazing genius. So very inspired. Like, I'm inspired by singers and musicians. I'm inspired by dancers and ballerinas. I do dance twice a week. On Wednesday I do an adult jazz class, I suppose you could call it. On Thursdays I do ballet classes. So very much inspired by dance, ballet, by drama, by filmmaking, by movies. So these are just categories for me. I'm interested to hear what categories inspire you. You know, if you're not a book reader, you might not be inspired by authors, but maybe, you know, there are filmmakers, or there are chefs if you love cooking, or if you love, I don't know, interior design or something. There might be a world of people who inspire you that I have no knowledge of. So I would be interested in hearing who inspires you. And that's the great thing, that, you know, we all are inspired by different things, and there's someone for everyone. There's something for everyone. We will always have inspiration all around us. It will never, ever, ever run out. There are always going to be people who inspire us. And yeah, like I said, we will always be inspiring other people. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing about who inspires me. And yeah, let me know in the comments who inspires you. I hope you enjoyed this journaling session. I have been decorating this page with some gorgeous pieces that I got from the Brown Satchel from Olivia. We did a lovely Happy Mail swap, and I've been loving using her tapes and ephemera and stickers to decorate this Daphne's Diary journal. And those pictures on the right hand side that I've stuck there, they are some artworks that I was doing for the bookmaking course that I'm doing. So I love this bookmaking course because it's not just about writing, it is about creativity. Since, you know, we're creating visual memoirs, it's not just about the words, it's about making art for the pages, for the backgrounds, a place for the words to land. So I not only get to write for this course, I get to create a lot of art. So those are just two examples of some artworks that I did that I never would have done without this course, you know. So it's very, very fun just to try different things, and yeah, I am enjoying it. So yeah, I will end this video here, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Big thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in June. I could not do this without you, so thank you so much for helping me do this channel and be a full-time creative. If you would like to become a patron, there is a link to my Patreon down below in the description box, where you get access to extra videos and printables and mail and journals, depending on what tier that you would like to support me at. You can also check my journaling courses down below in the description box, and all the different places to find me there too.